intuitive tool, right? And it kind of starts with the basic economics or the basic kind of theory of economics, which is about utility, right? For all of us, right? For any attribute, whenever we talk about a product, some products it is not attribute based, but some products are attribute based. Let us take an example. Going to a movie or going to a like kind of just a like walk in the evening or hanging out with your friends, these are intangible aspects of life, right? So most of the times we will not able to put a monetary terms or a utility functions to it. But let's say you are, so those are services, those are experiences, right? So that is where your experiences comes matter. And it is about, and yeah, some of you who have taken product and brand management, if as a product manager you have able to link certain experiences uh, of that customer to your product, so your product will be selling like a hotcake, right? If you see a lot of these juice companies have started now paper boat, for example. So the juice they talk about the, not about the how tasty or how like kind of sugarless or whatever, the not about the attributes. They talk about it is taking you to your childhood, right? And that is how, like most of the times we are, when we talk about value of the marketing, creating, communicating and delivering the value not only in terms of tangible benefits, value can be in intangible benefits, right? But when you talk about conjoint analysis, we're looking for most of the products where we have certain kind of attribute or tangible value, right, associated with that product. Think about a mobile phone, right? So obviously we think about whether I'll buy a Samsung or a Apple product or some other branded company. Apart from that, also in our mind, maybe not that we put on paper and do those calculations, but back in our mind, it comes like whether I should buy a 64 gigabyte memory or 120 gigabyte memory, whether I should have a 20 megapixel camera or 32 megapixel camera, whether I should have this kind of processor or the other kind of processor, right? What should be the screen size? Whether I should have front camera, what will be the pixel size, right? So those things, when I compare two products, automatically it is not that I'm putting an equation, but if you think logically, back of our mind, some kind of calculations are happening, right? And that gives rise to like, okay, let me buy this product. And sometimes calculations can be wrong, right? Sometimes we make wrong choices, right? And that part also we'll discuss today, something called the choice overload. But the point is, when you talk about making choices for most of the products, not for all the products, how we make a decision. So when I talk about decision, the art of choosing, the art of making a choice, defining the problem to solve. So these are the steps of a B2C, like customer purchasing behavior, steps in purchase, right? You find like what kind of problem, what kind of product or services you have to buy, specifying the goals. Okay, you should have a range, right? Okay, I need to travel from place to A to B. I have different options, right? But I need to travel and reach within 2 hours. This is an emergency. I have to reach within 1 hour. If I take a public transport, it might not be possible. So I have to maybe hire Ola, Uber. If that is not possible, it is late in the night, I might have to call one of my friend who has a car or a vehicle, right? So you are specifying the goal, right? And it happens automatically. It is not that you are writing. It happens in back of our mind very quickly in millisecond. And that is why like our brain is one of, people call it as a supercomputer, one of the fastest information processing like machine, right? Gathering information, that also happens very quickly, unless you are going to a regular purchasing. Let's say you have to go and buy a car, right? If it is just, let's say I want to purchase something day-to-day items or something which regularly I use, very quickly I gather information. Okay, this is 20 rupees, that is 30 rupees. This is giving 20% off, that is there is no increase in quantity, let me buy this, right? Very quickly it happens, right? Generating and analyzing the options. So the same example what I told, I have 3 or 4 options to choose. You go to purchase vegetables. Okay, what I will take? Okay, this person is buying and this looks fresh, and this he is giving me extra 20 grams or 100 grams or 250 grams, right? So we kind of compare options and purchase it. Then identifying trade-offs, right? And this is where the majority of our conjoint analysis, when you talk about conjoint analysis, simple thing to explain is it is a trade-off analysis, right? In our life, if I go and ask to a customer, they will ask that everything perfect. They want the best quality product with less price, with best services, everything like best. If I ask individually, but what happens as a company, I cannot provide them everything best, right? So they cannot. When I talk about best, I have to charge more premium price also, but customer never will willing to pay that much price. So there is somewhere trade-off has to happen, right? And what kind of combination of trade-off will is going to happen from the customer side, that is what we are trying to find out, right? Predicting the outcomes with regard to risk and uncertainty, right? So if I'm making that trade-off, right, and it again like happens very intuitively. We are not putting on paper, we are not discussing that with someone. If I take this new product, sometimes when you go and purchase a new product has come, new brand has come, and for the last 5 years we have been using certain branded toothpaste. Suddenly it looks like a very amazing packaging and I have seen that advertisement. So in back of our mind, what happens? Okay, let me try for 1 month. What will be the harm? Maximum I'll not like it, then from next month onwards I'll change, I'll come back to my previous brand, right? And that is where you are comparing what will be the risk of using that. But sometimes risk will be very high. You are regularly going to a doctor, changing to a new doctor is very, you feel that it is a very high risk, right? So very like that is a huge trade-off which you are going to make. Then act of deliberate choice. So this looks like a very like sequential process, but it is not. Parallelly, most of the steps, if you see, most of the steps will happen parallelly and very quickly, and that is where the mistakes also happen. It is not that this is a very robust process where customers won't make process. So where does this theory comes from? So mostly we'll be looking into how customers identify trade-offs, right? So this is comes from the consumer behavior model, information processing model. Our belief for most of the products is the basic or the fundamental hypothesis of conjoint analysis is that consumer decisions are attribute based. Whenever I'm going to purchase a mobile phone, purchase a electronics product, I am looking into different attributes of that product, then combination of that, whichever product gives me the best combination. So what is the definition of best? It will be different for me, it will be different for you, right? So there is no universal best. For me, I might compromise on price a little bit, right? So I might willing to pay more, little bit more, but I need a better quality product. Some people other, they have a range of price and they might say that, okay, no, this is my price range, I might trade up in little bit of quality or little bit of quantity, right? So for each of us, the fundamental equation, the combination of attributes will be completely different, right? Integration rules can be identified. Integration rules means combination of those attributes. I'll show you what I mean by that through that example. If the weights and attribute labels are known, then the market performance can be predicted. So for each person, if I'm able to find out for a particular typical person what kind of choices he or she is making, then for a particular product combination, I'll be able to estimate what would the, let's say I'm trying to launch a new product. If I know what are the choices in different product combination in existing market, then for the new product I can estimate using the same equation, I can estimate the future market performance or the market share, right? Let us try to understand through an example what we are talking about in this slide, right? So some of you are still going through the placement process and some of you are placed, right? Obviously all of you within next 2 months will get a job, right? So if I say that, okay, there are two, like one position which gives you a 6 lakh salary and which is 7 lakh salary, right? It is like kind of a silly question to ask, right? Obviously most of you will go for a 7 lakh salary, right? But I say that, okay, there is another like kind of additional point in your job description. So there is a travel in one position, there is a 30% travel, kind of 30% of the times you have to travel, another 50% of the times. If I say it is a 6 kind of lakh salary with 30% and 7 lakh salary with 50% travels, which one you are going to choose? Because if I
6 lakhs.
see, yeah, but will it be same for all of you? Some of you might say that, okay, I can go for a better salary but with 50% travel, I am okay with traveling. So if some of you get into this McKinsey or Bain or BCG, They travel 80% of the times. The consultant's role is out of 5 days, 4 days you have to travel. Fifth day on Friday you have to be in the head office. So their life, like the meme was that consultants' life is in airports. So they live their life in airports. So the point is like yes, but that looks better because obviously the prestige or the salary they get is at a higher end. But whether you like that, right? If I say that okay, it is a 6 lakh salary, then what about other typical choice? If I say that 6 lakh salary 50%, 7 lakh salary with 30%, it is a very easy decision. Who will go for a 6 lakh salary with 50%? I think none of you will go. If I ask you, there are two positions: 6 lakh salary with 50% travel and 7 lakh salary with 30%. Almost all of you, irrespective of function, will say that oh, who will go for that much travel? I think maximum, not all of you, maximum of you will go for a better salary with less travel. But when the choices are 6 lakh salary with 30% travel, 7 lakh salary with 50% travel, right? Then the division will come. Some of you might say that okay, for the next 2 years I do not mind traveling, but if there is a salary package difference of 1 lakhs in hand, I might go for that, right? 1 lakh means per month I'm getting 8 to 10,000 rupees more, so I might go for that. And traveling has its own perks, right? So I might like go for new places and all those things. I like to travel, I might go for that, right? So, and some of you, yes, some of you, like Abhishek was telling, they might choose for 6 lakhs with 30% travel. They don't want to travel, they'll say that I'll go for this. There is nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying, choices will differ. When I'm adding one more attribute, the combination, so right now there are four choices, right? 6 lakhs with 30%, 6 lakhs with 50%, 7 lakhs with 30%, 7 lakhs with 50%. Out of that, two choices are outliers. Most of us will not go for a 7 lakhs, 6 lakhs salary with a 50% travel, right? And 7 lakhs salary with a kind of a 50, mostly 50% travel, most of you might kind of object for. Then next, if I want more attribute, I add annual leave. One company, one position is offering you 4 weeks of total leaves. Another company is offering you 6 weeks. So that adds to your complexity. Now there are, so let's say if I have a one position with 6 lakh salary, 30%, 4 weeks. Then 7 weeks, 7 lakh salary, 50% 4 weeks. Which one will show? Or 6 lakh 30% is 6 weeks, 7 lakhs 50% is 6 weeks, or again combination. So if you see, if when I have only one option, right, two kind of labels, right? So one attribute was yearly salary, two labels, right? 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs. There are two labels for it, right? So it is very easy. 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs, 99% or almost 100% of you will go for that more salary, right? If no other information is given. When I add another attribute of travel percentage of time, 30%, 50%, right? Then it becomes little tricky for one option. So there are four options now. One option is very easy. If somebody says you 6 lakh salary, 50%, none of you might say that no, I'll not go for that. But when you have to choose between 6 lakh salary 30%, 7 lakhs 50%, then there will be difficulty. Then when I add one more attribute, now you have 8 options. 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2. So there are 8 options for you to choose from. Right. Now if I give you these options, okay, now you choose which options to give, which option to choose. Now you will find it difficult. So if I give you all the roles are same, but company is providing you this salary, travel, and your annual leave options. Job role is same. Let's say it is a sales and marketing role, or it is a finance role. Role description is same, everything remains same. But I have created these 8 positions. Designation will remain same. Job description, job role will remain same. But using these 3 different attributes, I'm creating these 8 positions. Which position will choose? Some positions is very easy, 6% with 50% with 4 weeks. None of very less people might select this, right? Most of the people might select with a 7 lakhs package, 30% and 6. But let's say those options are not there. So if I remove these options, then what is your next best choice? Right? So this is where if you see individually, if I give you one option, it is very easy for you to choose. If I right now, if I go and ask you which salary package you will choose, 6 or 7? 7. Which travel percentage you will choose? 30%, 50%? Obviously, all of you say 30%. Most of you, right? Unless you are very keen to travel most of the times. How much annual leave you want? 4 weeks or 6 weeks? Most of you will say 6 weeks. But life is not like kind of that easy, right? You will not get whatever we want. So there will be always choices and combination. Now, whenever those combinations of choices come, which choices you are going to make, right? And through conjoint analysis, again, like conjoint analysis can be applied across every function. It is not only for marketing, but obviously we are going to discuss for the marketing application, right? So think this same example for a product. Any product you go to the market, there are a lot of combinations: pricing, packaging, then the quantity, then discount available, right? And when we decide, it happens automatically, right? We are not creating Excel file and taking this kind of PowerPoint, right? Automatically it happens. Maybe something like a habitual like buying situation, we go and make those purchases, or sometimes automatically in our mind those calculations are made. So through conjoint analysis, we are trying to find out that calculation, right? That's it. Through conjoint analysis, we're trying to find out how that person, or how a group of persons are making that calculation, right? So this is choice overload problem, and that is where it is a very interesting. Yeah.
Is it same like permutation combination?
So permutation combination comes from the number of choices, but I'm not interested only number of choices. What I'm trying to find out through conjoint analysis is, out of those 9 combinations or 16 combinations, how am I making that choice of one choice? How I'm making choosing one choice, one option. So let's say if I ask you, Abhishek, choose one option out of this when this option is not there. Position 7 is not there, because position 7 is very easy. 7 lakh salary with 30% is 6. Right. So let's say this position is not available. Then which one you are going to choose? Rank them. Right? Or even let's say this position is there, rank these 8 positions. So obviously this one, most of you will tell one. Then what is the next one? Right? So the point is how you make that decision. I'm interested in that. If I'm able to find out that how you make that decision, how much weightage you give to your salary in comparison to travel, in comparison to annual leave, then accordingly I can design my job. As a human resource recruiter, I can design my job profile. Similarly, if I'm using for marketing, I can design my product also. Right? So what you said about permutation combination, this is just a like combination, right? If I have 2 choices, travel 2 choices, annual leave
Yes,
2
sir.
choices, how many combinations will happen? 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2, 8 choices. But at the in your life, reality life, you do not have 8 options. You have to choose one out of 8 options. How you make that choice? We are interested in that, right?
Yes, sir.
So one of the big problem happens when you have lot of options. Right now, I just showed you 8 options. Just imagine if I add location, you have location choices. You have, let's say, your HRA or salary, some additional benefit, health insurance choices. So what happens? When I add those 2, 3 choices more, the number of combination increases, right? Now you are overloaded with choices. Choosing one of them will be very difficult, right? And you might have in your life, some of you might have faced that issue. When you have 3 or 4 options, choosing one is very easy. When somebody shows you 20 options, that becomes a choice overload. So there is a very famous book, or a very like a good book in psychology, called The Art of Choosing, by Sina Iyengar, right? She is from Indian origin, but established in USA. She has done a lot of research, and mostly in Japan, right? I think she did her PhD in Japan. So, and her like kind of PhD thesis and everything is about this choice, how people make choices, right? So she did a very like kind of random control experiment in a very good like Walmart or something like that, very big store. So one kind of jam bottle, right, a fruit jam bottle, a brand, they have 24 choices. Another brand has six, sorry, same brand, in one store they put 24 choices, 24 different options of that brand. Another store, similar Walmart store, if you remember, we discussed about that experimental design. So this result was from similar kind of experimental design. So one Walmart store, they put same brand, same, let's say Kisan Jam or something. Obviously, it was not Kisan, it was something else. They put 24 choices, 24 options of a brand. And in another store, they put only 6 options of that brand, right? Right. So, and when they did that research, they found out that 40% of the people stopped looking into after the 6 options. They like it was like they asked people to go and make a choice. 40% of the people stopped, right? Did not purchase, and those people who purchased, right, or at least gone through that experiment, right? 30% of them make a choice to purchase, right? 30% is a very good number. But in case of when they have 24 choices, 60% of the customers did not even stop. They like when I said did not even stop, they did not go through the experiment. So when they heard that okay, you have to make a choice out of 24, so they said no, I do not have that much time. Right? They stopped. They did not join that experiment. And those other 40 percentage who came for that experiment, out of that only 3% make the purchase. So what she was trying to convey or through that study or through that research, whenever you increase the number of choices for a customer for the similar product, at certain point of level, the maximum limit in reaches that customer reaches a maximum limit. Beyond that, unless it is a very like kind of premium product or a once in a lifetime product, they will not put up. So this is the food jam. This is a day-to-day like kind of product usage product. The customer will not put that much effort or time to go through 6 choices. In this case, if you see 40% of the customer did not attend the experiment. And when you increase to 24 choices, 60% of the customer did not attend the experiment. But if you look into those 60% people who attended the experiment, out of that 30% at least make a choice. And in the other case, you see how much drop has happened. Only 3% make the choices. Everything remains same taste because it is from the same brand. Only thing they artificially you have increased the number of choices, right? So this is something which happens day to day basis for all of us. We might not be aware of it. Whenever sometimes for some products, some services, number of choices increase, right? And if you have gone through Myntra or Flipkart or Amazon during holiday sale, lot of choices, lot of discount. Sometimes people get overloaded. I'll leave it. Let me decide later on. I'll just put in wish list or cart. I'll make that choices later on, right? So and if you see like this, it shows that how many decisions a typical American. Obviously, this was involved like kind of a USA based study, not in India. 70 decisions per day. So they did a study on CEOs, how much time they spent on like each decision. So 50% of the decision they take less than 9 minutes. For each decision, they take 9 minutes. 42% decision more than 9 minutes, less than 1 hour, right? Then that is how much for 58% decision, which is more than 1 hour, right? So basically, like kind of in your life, in your day-to-day life, or in your overall life, so there will be some decisions which will take little bit more time to decide on, and there will be regular decisions which will not put more time, more effort to decide. And this is where we are trying to look into, right? Your regular product which when you are going to buy, where you are not going to put much more kind of lengthier time or much more time to decide how you make that decision, because something is happening in your back of your mind, some calculation is happening. How to find out that calculation, how to find out that equation, right? And we are interested in that. So then she has suggested some like how to for company how to reduce those kind of choice overload. Basically less is more. So in this case she suggested not to, so she did not only for food jam, she did for the Head and Shoulders, many different kind of FMCG product, right? See, I think that optimal range was 5 or 6, right? So for a customer to choose a day-to-day product more than 6 choices or 5 choices, it becomes very time consuming and people will not spend time to make a choice, right? Concentration, so that is a lot to deal with packaging, right? How like easily you are able to show that okay, why person will choose, because most of the times what happens in this particular case, from the same brand there are 6 choices, but in reality what will happen, there will be different brands and different choices. How you make sure that company customer is choosing your product, right? So the benefit has to be like clearly shown, right? So that the person can concentrate on the benefit, visualize the benefit, right? categorization, right? Look into who is so, and that is where the difference between customer and consumer, right? It is not about who is making the choice, but who is like choosing the product. Because sometimes what happens, the person who is buying, and most of the like children might like a sugary product, very tasteful, but when their mothers are coming to the market in today's world, they'll be looking for the healthier options, right? And that is where you have to decide whom you are targeting, and how you are differentiating between consumer and a customer, the person who is a choice maker and the person who is choosing that product, right? Condition for complexity, right? Unless it is a premium product, unless it is a very complex decision making product, don't bring complexity, right? Make it very simple for a customer to choose. If you can reduce to 2 or 3 options, do that, right? Unless it is a car, right? You have 10 different brands, 5 different colors, which customer want, right? If you are just selling a FMCG product, why to bring with 5 different color packaging, right? Make it very simple unless it is required, because for cars, for automobiles, for clothing, obviously you cannot just go by black and white or a red or orange, right? There will be requirement of different colors. People will spend time, which color looks good on me, or which color I like that, or which kind of automobile I like, that will be complex decision making. But day to day habitual product don't make the like choices complex, right? Any questions on this? So conjoint means considered jointly, like because like I said, in our day-to-day life, it doesn't happen. Like I showed you that a job opportunity, like kind of position, those job positions, right? It will never happen. The company will come and say that, okay, choose whether you will take a 6 lakh salary, 7 lakhs, or 30% travel, 50% travel, or 4 weeks sleep, or 6 weeks left. So every time you will choose the better option for you, right? More salary, less travel, and more leaves. But life, like I said, is not that simple. It will have a combination of different alternatives, right? When those options come, how do you make that choice, right? So the basic theory, or the, like I said, fundamental is, we are dividing, we are believing that a product is a combination of some equation of the attributes, and how that equation is formed depends upon the customer. It is not a very standard equation for all the customers. For similar kind of customers, it might be very similar. So for some healthy, like health conscious customers, they might be looking into more nutrition. So the weightage they are giving to nutrition will be much more. The attribute importance for nutrition will be much more. But for some customers, like young, like teenagers, for them the flavor, color, or the price might be much more important, right? So for different customers, the attribute weightage, the importance will be different. So what we are trying to do through Conjoint, we are trying to find out for our customers which attribute. Let's say if I am trying to launch a new health drink, and I have, these are the attributes: the flavor, the energy, the calorie solubility, how quickly it is able to mix with the water, color, price, nutrition. All these are the attributes of that health drinks. So which attribute has more weightage in comparison to other attributes? Because if I ask the customer individually, each customer, obviously price will be obviously less, color may be whatever their combination, energy might be, some health conscious customer, they might look into less calorie, less carbs, right? But when I give a combination of product, how they are making their choices, right? The word conjoint has to do with notion that the relative values of things considered jointly can be measured, and that is how our hypothesis, that we can measure that, when they might not be measurable if taken one at a time. Like I said, if I ask you, choose vacation time, choose your travel time, and choose your salary package, obviously you will go for the maximum benefit, right? But when I make you combine them and give you option, which one will choose, that gives me idea that, okay, out of salary, when compared to salary, compared to travel time, compared to vacation, which attribute is more important, right? I'll show you through an example, which the survey yesterday I sent you that link, right? So conjoint analysis is best suited for research about product that can be defined in terms of attributes, right? And that is important. Sometimes if it is experience, right, which I cannot actually, something which is very intangible and cannot be defined through your attributes, right? That becomes just a minute. So the approach is exceptionally powerful because conjointly overcomes the tendency of respondent to say everything is important. That's what I was telling you, right? So if I go to a customer, if I say that price is very important, quality very important, let's say the like sugar level is very important. Like for a health drink, if I ask everything, they'll say that yes, every attribute is important. But when I ask them to force them to choose between product, then only I can know about the combination of those attributes, right? Conjoint reveals the underlying structure of decision making. Conjoint is more efficient than concept testing, right? In concept testing, I'm just asking to choose a product. Here I'm trying to understand why that person, why certain kind of customers are choosing certain products or certain concepts. Conjoint can be used to predict choices and marketplace activity with regard to product ideas, concept, even those that are not explicitly addressed in the survey. What does it mean? If I'm giving you 4 or 5 product options, like I said, you those out of those 8 options, rather than showing you 8 options, if I show you 4 or 5 options, based on your choices, I can decide about what will be your choice preference for the other 3 options, which I have not shown. So let's say I want to launch a new product, right? So there are 32 combination, 27 combination. If I ask you to make the product choice out of 27 combination, obviously it will be very difficult. You will not make that. But if I give you 9 or 6 options or 10 options and I ask you to choose top 5, top 3, and you are making that choices, based on that, I can make and I can build an equation and prove that, okay, what will be the preference for other combination of attributes, other product concepts, right? And I will discuss that through example, don't worry. So again, the working assumptions, utilities can be measured by consumers' overall evaluation of products where customers make trade-offs among attributes, right? Uh, Customers differs in their preferences and the value they place on different attributes. And this is what I was discussing, right? Like in the beginning, if I ask you, for some of you, the travel 50% is okay. You will choose travel 50%. Some of you will go for travel 30% of the times. Some of you, the combination of 6 lakh salary package with 30% travel with 6 weeks annual vacations will be more preferred. For some of you, 7 lakhs salary with 50% travel 4 weeks might be preferred one, right? We never know, right? So the combinations also differ for different customers. Estimates of the utilities can be used to make market share predictions about the new product, right? Like I said, if I have not given that combination, but now once I know the importance of each attribute, I can calculate a new concept or what is the market share of a new product or a new concept, right? So if you look into this figure of information processing, so this is what happens in our mind, and that is what Conjoint is trying to find out. What kind of equation, what kind of weightage we provide to each attribute. Let's say there is a product which is a combination of different attributes, A1, A2, A3, up to AN, right? So Ajay, when you are evaluating in back of your mind, so for each attribute, you are giving an weightage. What is how much important my salary package? How much important my annual leave? How much important is my travel time, travel percentage, right? And when I take a combination of that, that gives me a final choice, which will be my final choice, whether position 1, 2, or position 8. Out of those 8 job positions, which job position will be my most preferred one, right? So there are a few key terms, concepts in conjoint analysis. Uh, Again, I'll show you that in that website also. So attributes are features, right? For a product, first we divide one product into combination of different attributes, right? Let's say in this particular case, what I've shown, there is uh, product is laptop, right? So attribute is brand is one attribute. Then battery life is another attribute. Size, the screen size is another attribute. And the price is the fourth attribute, right? Attribute is what? The features of the product, right? If like in general terms we talk about what are the features of the product, show me the features of the product, right? So that is what in the product descriptions all the features will be listed. Then for each attribute there might be different options for the customer. When you talk about brand, so let's say customer is choosing between Samsung and Dell, right? In the customer choice set there are only 2 companies, 2 brands, or it can be 5 labels also, right? So when you talk about labels, it is a number of options for each attribute, right? In case of brand, there are two different attributes, like in I showed. In case of your salary, there are two labels, right? 6 lakhs and salary is attribute. 6 lakh 7 is two labels of that, right? Similarly, for battery life 12 hours, it's only one label. Size 13 or 11, two labels. Price again, only one label, 700, right? So each combination of your label, attribute label, becomes a concept, right? So what happens here? Samsung 12 hours battery life, 13-inch screen size, $700 pricing. That becomes a product concept or service concept or whatever you want to test, right? Similarly, Dell 12 hours 11-inch USD $7. That becomes another concept. And I think in this way, this we can use for any kind of marketing application, insurance product, credit card product. So if you see a lot of companies that different credit card options, right? And think that each of those credit card is nothing but a concept. So attribute, for each attribute there are label. So combination of product attribute labels gives rise to a concept, right? Now when I ask the customer to make a choice out of those concepts, right? So that is a task. For a customer, it is a task to make a choice, right? Out of different combination of product attributes, product attribute labels, right? So this part is clear. What is attribute, what is a label, what is a concept or a profile, or what is a task, or any doubt on this?
No.
So then what is a part worth function, right? The part worth function or utility function describe the utility consumer attached to a label of each attribute, right? So this again, like I can do it in two ways. I can just ask that, okay, what is the weightage, how much importance you give it to, let's say if I say size, screen size of a laptop, right? So some of you will say that, okay, in a rating of 0 to 1 to 10, 10 is very highly important, 1 is very less important or not important at all. I can ask in that way, but there is a very kind of what will say, very simplistic approach. So some customers always will go for very important. Like I said, if I ask individually, how much salary, like salary of a job is important to you? Rate in a scale of 1 to 10. 1 not important at all, 10 very important. You'll say 10 very important. How much your, let's say, this annual leave is important to you, right? So we are not asking like that, right? If you ask like that, it becomes very simple, and customers always will go for the best choice for them, right? Which might not be available in reality. You might not get a job with 7 lakh salary package, 30 percentage your travel time, and your 6 weeks of annual leave, right? Because that is the ideal, that is the most optimal choice for a customer, but that might not be available. You might not get a car which is like kind of costing you only 2 lakhs, has a like kind of mileage of 50 kilometers, right? So that choice is a very hypothetical situation, you might never get. So you have to compromise, and with that compromise, how much weightage, how much utility, how much worth you are putting to each label, right? Then relative importance weight. Once we know the each weightage of those labels, we'll be able to find out relatively. If I tell that, okay, uh, screen size is 13-inch, 11-inch, for 100 customers or for 1,000 customers whom did I survey, how much in comparison to 13-inch screen size is more important than 11-inch or less important? Or let's say your Samsung brand is more important than Dell or less important, right? So that is where your relativity score will come, right? What else? So how do we carry out a conjoint analysis test? Define attributes. So this is the most important aspect, right? For a company, obviously it will be easy for the company because the product managers know what kind of product attributes are there. But if you're doing outside market consultant, right? So that is something with focus group discussion or brainstorming, or it is if it is a new product, you have to find out, right, what kind of attributes the product has, right? And just imagine if you are launching a new electric vehicle, so which attribute you are going to take? There will be 10 or 15 or 20 attributes, right? All the attributes, and for each attribute the labels, right? let's say I have a one attribute called battery life, the like how much time it takes to like kind of charge the electric vehicle battery. So there might be three options. One battery type is there which will take 4 hours, other is 6 hours, the other is 8 hours. So for one of my attribute there are three labels. Second attribute might be price. So one model I'm selling at 60,000, other 80,000, the third one at 1 lakh. Then third attribute might be color, and I have 8 color combinations, right? So like that, for each attribute I have to find out what are the labels by discussing with the either with the company, or if it is a concept, with the subject matter experts or focus group discussions, right? Select number of labels for each attribute. That is very important, that you have to find out through qualitative or focus group discussion or brainstorming or secondary research. Define hypothetical products, right? And this is something the software is doing it for us, right? Imagine a scenario, right? Like I showed you two job CTC package, then two annual leave options, and two your this travel percentage. So total combination is 8, and as and when I keep adding attributes with labels, the number of combination will keep increasing, right? Now what happened, I showed you, I'll show you the, okay, these are 8 options, choose, rank them or give them each of your rating. So what is happening, you might take 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and not that I was just looking at that number. Some of you, like those of you have just filled that survey, and you have done within 5 or 10 seconds, and that's why the algorithm or the conjoint algorithm rejected the input, right? So the point is, because that just randomly somebody, some of you have just put the answer, right, which might not be the true choice because you have not read it, right? And that is a different scenario, that is a different thing which we'll discuss maybe in the next class, right? How you make sure that your survey or your data collection is robust, right? So that is a different part of the discussion which we'll discuss. But the point is, as and when your attributes and labels increase, the number of choices increase. And in the beginning itself, we have told that when you increase number of choices, none of the respondents are going to answer your survey, right? So make sure that you are, and most of the time software will help us doing that. Out of, rather than, let's say I have 128 options, and if I go and ask the customer, rate these 128 options, none of the respondents in this world is going to do that kind of choices, make those kind of choices. So the point is, orthogonal design means, rather than showing that 128 designs, can I reduce it to 16 or 20 or 12, so that customers can make those choices and I can get that answer which will be as reliable as getting those choice of choices of 128 or 120 choices, right? So if I start adding attributes and labels, my number of choices increase. I know that if I show 100 choices to a customer, customer is not going to choose, customer will get confused, right? So rather than showing a customer 100 choices, out of 100 choices, I'll choose 10 options, 10 choices in such a way that that actually replicates or that actually represents those 100 choices. If I'm able to get answer for those 10 choices, I'll be able to get answer for those 100 choices also, right? And that is what happens through orthogonal design. So that are like, that is a part of experimental design. So there are different types of orthogonal design, fractional, factorial, orthogonal, random, uh, control design. So there are different types. So not get into that detail, but at least we should know that. So the basically the reduction of number of choices, right? From, let's say, 100 choices to 10 or 120 choices to 12, how it happens, right? And why we are doing that? Because we know that customer is never going to choose out of 100 options, right? It will be very difficult for him or her. Design and conduct survey, estimating utilities.
Sir,
Yeah.
excuse me,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
in that survey, the question was only one question. Only the choice was different. As because question was not changing, I got confused over that. One single
Question is
only
basically, yes. Question is which one will choose, right?
Yes,
The
sir,
choices will be different, right? And I'll show you how they're building that, right? I'll take the same example.
yes.
Okay, so this was the example. This is the conjoint which I had constructed in that survey form which I had asked you to fill. So what I said, I was just a hypothetical scenario. I said, okay, let's say there is a data science certification. or some certification, right? So there are three options. So duration is a attribute, right? Duration in month is a attribute. So I have created 2, 3, 4. Okay, let me quickly show you in the website so that you can also. Was that a question?
No, sir. Graph will be easy.
Yeah, just let me show that in the. Just a minute. Where is this? Yeah. So, like I said, there is a class exercise after today's class. So, to build a conjoint like I did for your class, simple approach. I'll show you in conjointly that website link what I have shared you. You can create a trial version. You can take a trial version and use it. You can also use other softwares, right? So it is not that you have to use this software. Other software also similar approach, right? But the point is you should know that how to create a conjoint study and how to analyze the result. Next class we'll discuss how to do it manually, right? If you do not have access to a software, can I do it in Excel, right? Where is my screen? Yeah. So if you like, I have used the conjointly, this conjointly software, conjointly.com. I have sent you the link in Google Classroom. So I'll go to the my experiment, the experiment which I created. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I have created a conjoint analysis for educational products. So when you log in into conjointly.com, so just it will ask your, I think, email ID, password, and all those things. Normal. So it is not going to ask you for your credit card information. Create experiment. So what I did, I launch a new experiment. I clicked. For me, I have already created. What this? So this yesterday I had sent you the link. So where is my? Yeah. So just put a name, and in today's class exercise I gave you that it is for a ITC product, these chips, right? Mad angle, yummy toes. So there are 4 different options, 4 different package size, then pricing, right? Accordingly you have to create. So how you create? First you put the attribute name, right? For you it will be the brand name, 4 brand names, then your pricing, then pricing is one attribute, brand name is another attribute, then package size 100 gram, 120 gram, 150 gram, like that there are package size. For me, what is that? For me it is duration. What is the duration of certification? How many levels? 2, 3, 4, right? Mode, whether it is online mode, offline mode, or a hybrid mode. Actually you can write in the bracket
Sir,
also.
how we will be adding the levels, sir?
So okay, let me just show you whether I can edit it. Labels here, if I go to the okay, let me just otherwise create a new experiment. Okay, launch new experiment. So click on this generic conjoint.
Sir, if ITC, can it be brand specific? Because we will be getting attributes, right?
Can you please repeat the question?
Sir, over here you went to generic, right?
Yes.
So if we are conducting ITCs, so can we go to brand specific so that the attributes will be there only beforehand?
Yes, you can do that.
Okay.
But again, the study will be same. Here also you'll be writing the brand names.
Yes, sir.
So let's say this is already example is given, right? So if you want to change something, right? Let's say rather than this product brand, you can write let's say Mad Angle or Bingo or something like that. You can write those brand names, right? In this case, engine capacity, that is a feature. Labels are there. You can add label here or delete label here also, right? So I do not have 2-liter engine or 1.8-liter engine. I will remove this. Or I want to add another label 2.5-liter. I can add here, right? Similarly, like say, so these things you have to change rather than engine capacity. For me, let's say for that class exercise I have given you, you have to write whatever the, let's say, price is there. So in case of feature, you have to select that is a price, right? So like here, the price is already there, right? So rather than 190, I think that is about 7 rupees, 12 rupees, 10 rupees, 12 rupees, 15 rupees, like that. 10, 12, 15, 20. I don't remember whether it is there. If 20 is there, just add 20. Right. So what we are doing here, we are defining the attribute. Price is attribute. Then we are defining how many labels of that attribute, how many options of that attribute is there, right? So for each of the attribute, how many labels you have to do? Then select edit template, keep it like this, choose participant. So here, if you go and save and prepare for launch, what it is going to ask you? Okay, let me remove this. I'm not given anything.
This, sir, the same can't we do in Google Form, sir?
Yes, Google Form you can do, but you have to analyze manually.
Okay.
Very well, so that's what we can do. Like we'll do in the next class, right? Because here what happens, you do not know how to calculate that. You will get the answer.
Sir,
Yeah.
after manually means generating
once you
Google
get
from then
once
to the
you
Excel, right?
Yes, once you get the answer in this CSV form, how to analyze that? Because in Google form, what will happen?
Okay.
The choice options will happen. Now you have to make the calculation. Here the tool is going to make a calculation for you.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, it is showing because I have taken a license, right? For you, it might not show. What might happen that, okay, it will ask for a like pricing, right? So what will happen if it is asking for some pricing to launch the experiment? Just click deselect the price, right? Then launch experiment. Otherwise, it will be showing here that license, corporate license for 7,000 or 6,000. So there will be a checkbox. Click that. So that means you are not going to pay it. So in that case, what happens? Your number of responses will be limited to 20, right? And that is okay. So the study what I've given, at least we are trying to understand it, right? Ideally it should be 100, but we'll with 20 examples, 20 responses, we are going to analyze it. So once you launch, for you it will not show you as the launch, it will show you that, okay, corporate license 7,000 or 6,000 rupees. So there will be a checkbox. Just select that, deselect that, just click on that, deselect the checkbox, then launch the experiment. You do not pay anything, right? So let me go back to my experiment. So to answer Abhishek's question, can it be done in Google Form? Yes, it can be done. The same thing we can create in Google Form. Only thing is that we have to know that how to analyze, how to create the analysis out of that, whatever responses we are getting. Here, what happens? The software. Let me delete this one. Let me delete. So now what I have created here, what I had created for you, right? I have a data science certification with 3 labels, 3 months, like duration in months, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Mode of the certification is online, offline, or teaching is hybrid. Fees is 20,000, 25,000, and 30,000, right? So if you see how many combinations are there, how many choices, if I have 3 labels of each, how many total combinations I have?
9.
27.
27, right? 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3.
Okay.
So total number of choices will be 27. So that is where, if you see, the question is same, which option you are going to choose, right? But 27, if I show you 27 at single point of time, it will be very difficult for you to make a choice. So that's why in your screen, it is showing the same question, which one you will choose, right? 3 options with a none of the above, right? None of the above option. So for me, what has happened, how many people have responded? So right now, I think after this class started, 2 or 3 of you have answered. By when I took that screenshot, I had only 19 responses. So the interesting part I'll show you here. So if I click on this review list, I'll exactly know that how much time you have taken to like kind of carry out this survey, right? If you see, like whenever that it is taking less than the standard time, right, the normal time for a respondent to read a question and answer, this algorithm has defined it. If somebody is taking less than, some people have just opened it and not like kind of, so that is obviously excluded. But for some people, like let's say this second response is within 1 minute completed survey, now it is included in the analysis. But if I see that okay, within 1 minute he has gone through that much data and answered, he might have or she might have not read the questions, I can exclude, click on here and exclude that also, right? Some of that already excluded. If you see, somebody has taken 0.8 minutes, that means 48 seconds, close to that. So it is showing incomplete survey because duration on some conjoint questions was too short. Automatically the tool has excluded their answers. They might have answered because they are taking, they have not gone through the, so when I say they means some of you have not gone through the questions correctly, have not read the questions at all, just put some answer, none of the above or whatever it is, right? That's why that analysis is excluded. Because see, this is important, which I am not able to capture in Google form.
Yes,
this
sir,
is
yes.
this is very much important when I'm putting to my, let's say, management, that okay, that shows the reliability of my study. I'm showing that okay, somebody, and obviously somebody just can open it for 2 minutes or 5 minutes, then suddenly give that, right? That software cannot do anything about it, right? But at least this gives some certain reliability of the, that okay, it is not, it is excluding those people who have just within 10 seconds or 20 seconds just for filling the survey have fields, right? So this is one advantage of using software. Not only this, other softwares, like I said, there are other versions also, they also have this kind of options, right? So this gives you so some reliability of your study. You can always go and claim that yes, this is how I have decided how to select the responses, right? Then let us go to, so if you click here on the view report, right? So right side bottom part, there is something called view report, right? So this shows your attribute importance, right? So if you see, like fee is so most important attribute out of those. Okay, let me recalculate, because I think earlier, like I said, the survey size was 19. Right now, I think 22. Let us recalculate. So at least for you, like I said, get 20 responses, right? Because if you are using the free tool, for you it will be 20, more than 20, or even if you get, it will not. So anyhow, I'll mention that in the class exercise. Get 20 responses and try to analyze. For me, like I am showing it for 22 responses. So what basically we are trying to do, I have shown you different options of this data science certification, right? And I have asked you to make a choice of those options, right? Based on your those options, I'm trying to find out which is most important. I could have asked in other way also. Out of these three attribute, price, let's say your mode of what is that? Let's say mode of education, and your what else was the duration. Choose which one is the most important one. That is one way to do it. That is a direct way. This is in indirectly, which happens in reality, right? You have lot of data science certifications. Obviously, I can give you like whether it is from Coursera or edX or Udemy, right? That also can be one attribute and with different labels, right? But the number of choices again will increase. So here it actually happens really, right? You have different options in your life, then you are making that choice. Then what I'm trying to get, what is my objective in Conjoint, to find out this attribute importance. Because this question also I could have asked directly, but the answer which would I have got might not have been correct. Now what happens? This answer I'm not asked. Yeah.
Sir, platforms will be attribute or label.
Platforms.
EDX, Coursera will
Yes.
be
Platform is a
attribute or
attribute.
label.
Platform will have 4
Okay.
labels or 5 labels. So which platform, which brand, right? Some of you will say no, edX is from MIT, I'll go for that. Or some of you will say no, I'll go for a Coursera that has certification, has a value in LinkedIn, right? Whatever it is, your choices, right? But platform of whatever that course, that is attribute. On that there are labels. Coursera is one label, edX is one label, Udemy is another label, Udacity is another label. So I have a attribute called platform, then that has 4 labels. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So this is something which I'm interested in, right? So this I could have asked in a direct question, simple question. Out of these three, which is most important to you? That is a direct way of asking question in survey. most of the time that doesn't show actual customer choice. Here what is happening, I'm giving you product combinations, 20,000 rupees certification with 3 months duration with online mode, whether you are going to choose that, or 25,000 with offline with 3 months duration. Now you are making an actual choice, and out of those choices of those 22 individuals, I'll find out that, and how to calculate that I'll show you manually in Excel in next class. But this calculation already software has done for you. So it shows that the mode is the most important attribute out of all these three. If you add all these three, it will be 100%. So relatively, if you see, mode is the most important attribute in comparison to fees, in comparison to duration in months, right? So this is one thing I'm interested in. Then for each of those attribute, what is the importance of label, right? So when I talk about duration, right? So most people, most of you have actually selected for 4 months. Sorry, 3 months. 3 month is the most preferred label out of 2, 3, 4, followed by 4, and least is the 2. Again, this is a relative weight. So minus 13.8 doesn't mean that nobody selected it. In comparison to other three, if I add all these 3%, it is 0. So relatively, if I compare, so the 7.1%, what does it mean? This is the most preferred attribute, sorry, most preferred label in the attribute of duration, followed by 4 months, followed by 2 months, right? For the class exercise, what I've given for each of the, like obviously the calculation the software is doing for you, take the screenshot. If you can right click it, I think copy image should will be there. Copy the image, put in a Word document and explain that. What does it mean? So you'll copy the attribute importance, right click, copy image, and say that what does it mean. You'll say that okay, whichever for the brand, brand is one attribute. There are 3 or 4 labels. Then there is something called price. Then there is something called package size. So I have 3 attributes, and for each attribute there are few labels. So you have to find out which attribute is the most important for the respondent survey you are conducting. Similarly, preference for label for each attribute, inside each attribute, which label is most important. So online, offline, hybrid. Hybrid is the most preferred, followed by offline, followed by online. Then obviously I think all of us will agree, even without survey also, always we know that the most less money everybody will prefer, right? So 15.1%, 10.2, 25.3%, right? Marginal willingness to pay, this is again, if you see, it is in dollars. So this is basically again like same percentage level what we calculated for each label, right? So if you see, price will not be there because price is already a monetary. So what it has done, it has converted those durations, right? If I take this 2 months as my base label, in comparison to that, how much additional money, right? Because don't ignore the dollar symbol, it will be in rupees because that is automatically, I think that in one setting we have to change from dollar to rupees if that is available. So in comparison to 2 months, right? How much more money like a customer is willing to pay for a 3 months duration course, that is 2,450. In comparison to 2 months, how much money, if I take 2 months as a base level, right? How much more money the customer is willing to pay for 4 months? That is one. It is again not dollars because that monetary symbol unfortunately I did not change. That's why it is showing. So that I have to change it to rupees, Indian rupees. So it is 1,520, right? Similarly, in the mode, if I take online as the base, right, 0. For offline mode, they are looking for less than 3,130, right? So they want fees to be less by 3,130. Now for hybrid mode, they're willing to pay by 2,060 rupees, right? So think about if you're doing actually for a product, it will give you an idea that, okay, in this case, I can charge a little bit more. In this case, packaging, if it is 150 gram, actually I can charge 2 rupees or 5 rupees more, right? Without asking a customer directly. So other way of around asking question, if it is a 2 months duration, are you prepared to pay 1,000 rupees or 1,500 rupees for a 3 months duration? That would have been a direct question. And I could not have believed whether if somebody actually will make that choice or not. In this case, what is happening? I'm asking customer to make a choice. And from that, I'm calculating how much actually they're going to pay, right? And this is better because I'm able to understand what is happening in the mental calculation. How do they choosing? How are they making the choices? Then rank list of concepts, right? So if you see, these concepts would have been shown to you, right? Those 27 concepts would have been shown to you to make a choice. If you see, this is the most preferred choice. 3 months duration with hybrid mode with 20,000 fees, right? Obviously, if you see wherever this is 20,000, those are the most preferred choice, followed by 25,000. Then there is, if you see, there are also some 20,000. 2 months with hybrid 20,000. Value to customer is 3.8. So that was a rank of 9. So these are nothing but one product concept. So if you think about, if Udacity or Coursera is going to launch certain data science certification, and these are the 27 options, which one they should launch? So top 3 or top 4, because these are the ones most people are going to buy, most people will prefer.
But sir, Coursera also will think of from their point, right? Which is cost efficient. Hybrid will be costlier to them, right?
Exactly,
Both online and
exactly. So
offline.
if that is not possible, let's say there is no hybrid mode. So that's why I told you, right? So that option you have to take it out. If that option is not there, that option you cannot provide. So take that out in the beginning. So say that that
So
option is
then
not there.
second best will be considered, right?
Correct, correct. So if let's say these options are not there at all, I cannot provide a 3 months duration, 4 month duration with hybrid mode. Take that out because I do not have a choice. As a company, I do not have choice. Like I said in the job description, if there is no option of a 7 lakh salary, 30% with 6 lakhs, 6 weeks of leave. So that option, no, like you do not show to or do not give to your customers. Go to the next best. Right? But if it is there, if you can provide, this is the most preferred choice. Right? Then at the end,
Yes.
there is something called goodness of
Sir,
it.
do ITC and Coursera do this kind of survey and lay on the responses, sir?
Yes, most of them use this kind of softwares. So can you please repeat what is that? Whether they use it
Sir,
or not?
I mean to say that if yeah, I mean to say
Yeah.
that ITC, if launching a product, they lay on this survey kind of thing, or they do apart from something else.
Yes. So if you remember, we discussed something called market testing, right? So this
Yes, sir.
conjoint analysis is nothing but similar to market testing, but you are conducting. So what is the difference between concept testing, market testing, or this conjoint analysis? You are not actually creating a product, right? So in concept testing, we are creating different samples of product, going and putting in a store and looking into whether customer is choosing those what kind of product, right? But the analysis part still remains same. In conjoint analysis, it helps you actually you are not creating a product. You are creating concept. You are not physically creating that product. You are creating this concept and asking that. So now this Coursera or whichever this companies, before designing a course, they look into what kind of choices is much more preferred to customer. If they find out that okay, hybrid is the most preferred one with 20,000 and this, they'll look into the viability whether they can design a course like that. If so, then they'll launch rather than already designing a course and sending. That will much more costly, right? They'll put in the website and try to see that whether people are choosing or not. Now what happens, they're doing this concept testing. ITC or any FMCG company, any company can go by any kind of they can create products. They can put into the actual scenario, right, in actual into stores, carry out those kind of market testing, or they can go by this kind of conjoint analysis also. So to answer your question whether they use it, yes, they use it.
Okay, sir.
So goodness of fit test, it shows basically the because also you have to do it in Excel, that is similar to regression, dummy level regression. So here they have used similar kind of techniques. So it shows that okay, what is your R square value? This is 0.554. That means at least you are able to explain the variation, explain the customer choice up to 55.4% level. It might not be very great. Like I said, I have got only 22. Once you get around 100 responses, your fitness will be very good, right? It is not a problem with the study because study you cannot improve in any other way. Only problem is that I have very less responses. I have only 22 responses up now, right? If I have got more responses, 50, 60, or at least ideally if you so it is 100, right? 100 responses, 200 responses, then it could have been better. I could have got a better fit, right? The answer which I would have got would have been much robust. Then it shows that also how many respondents will always towards none of the above, 1.9% answers out of all choice sets across all respondents. There are around people, right, 1.9% of the times they told none of the above, right? So this fitness is about the, like if you remember in R square what we discussed, how much explain, how much your this model you are able to explain through your study. So in our case, what we are trying to explain, the customer choices, right? At least more than 50%, 55.4% choice, like assumptions of customers were able to explain, which is not very great, medium. If I get more responses, I'll get a better answer, right? So this is how you can carry out a conjoint study, right? So like I said, can you do it in Google Form? Yes, you can do. And how to analyze that and how to carry out that, we'll do it in next class. But at least for your class exercise, I hope this part is clear, how to conduct a conjoint and how to describe or how to analyze it. Any questions or any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So quickly, so again, I have just shown that in your slides. So this is the option. These are the product attributes and labels, right? So that you can modify in your that software what you are using. So this gives you the response analysis, right? Some responses which were selected, some responses which are rejected. Then preference for label, like, so again, this I have taken the copy image and put it here. I have discussed this already. So duration months, 4 months is much more preferred than this 3 months. But this was before, this was I think at 19, when there were 19 responses. I have to update this to this current 22 responses. Attribute importance out of duration, mode and phase. Mode was the most important, followed by phase, followed by duration in months, right? Then which was the most preferred choice, right? Rank of the concepts, rank of the course options, right? So 4 months duration, offline mode, 20,000 fees, right? So that was the most chosen option, most chosen concept. So that was the rank one. So that was a very high value to the customer, 11.8. So this is again, this I've taken. So this was again, like I said, this will differ a little bit because I have taken earlier data. So, okay, I think I'll just discuss another 2 slides and we'll be done for today. Yes, Saurabh.
Sir, actually, I have one question.
Yeah.
Sir, after doing the survey from this conjoint analysis,
Yeah.
so we will have to not opt for the regression model or anything such like as per the respondent answer,
Yeah.
sir.
So that is if you want
We
to do
will
it
not go for
manually, right?
any further any.
Google Form analysis, Google Form is not going to do it for you. We have to do a dummy level regression, which I'll show you in the next class. Here, the software is doing the analysis for you,
On
right?
the sir, on the same software, the analysis comes first.
Can you please repeat? I did not get you.
Sir, I'm saying, sir, this software on the conjoint analysis. With this software only, the analysis part comes in the screen, or we have to do some additional option to do the regression
No.
analysis or what, sir?
You have to click on that view report. It will generate the report for you. In the bottom part of the screen, once you are clicking on the response list, click in the bottom side, right side, bottom corner. Click on the view report. So it is doing the analysis for you, right? So you do not have to do any regression.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Next class we'll learn how to do it manually. Like Abhishek was asking, not necessarily you will take the license for this kind of software, right? If you like sometimes you have to do it manually, right? How to do it manually.
Okay, sir.
So obviously this is a realistic choice of shopping task, right? Because generally people, like I said, that is the most difficult part. If I ask people for option, they will always go for the best option, which is not a reality, right? Now I'm giving them choices and asking them to make a choice out of the available choices, right? Measures preference at individual level. For each individual, I know what is a preference. Uncovers real or hidden drivers which may not be apparent to the respondent themselves, right? So like if I say the comparing the duration, class duration or fees and the mode, which is most important, people might give some answers randomly, but when I'm asking them to make a choices, now indirectly I'm finding out the real region between this or real comparison between these three: fees, mode and the duration. And mode came the most important one, which might not have been happened if I'm asking directly. everybody would have asked, might have suggested price. Price is the most important. But when I'm giving them actual choices, actual options, I'm trying to find out, I'm able to find out the relative importance of those attributes. Obviously, designing conjoint study, like I said, most of the times companies use this kind of software manually. You'll see that why it becomes difficult, right? With too many options, respondent resort to simplification strategies, like some of you just put within 30 seconds, 20 seconds, just click some answer, right? That it becomes a problem, right? Who will go for 10-minute survey, 5-minute survey, complete within 1 minute, right? Poorly designed studies may overvalue emotional preference variables and undervalue concrete variables. This is where the attribute and label cannot be your assumed attributes, right? You have to have a solid qualitative research, focus group discussion, or discussion with the management. If you're doing it for a company, the product managers know that, okay, these are the attributes, and these are the labels, right? So if you randomly put some prices, which is not actually ITC is not never going to use, then that is just a waste of your like kind of a study, right? So what price level you should put? If I'm just putting randomly and product manager is never going to put that price, then that was a waste of my study. So before you conduct a study, if you're doing it per company, you have to know that what are the different price options the product manager is thinking. Like say Abhishek was asking, it might not be feasible for an offline class with 4 months duration with a 20,000 cost. That will be like negative, like loss for the Coursera, because I just had put to show you for your classroom, right? 20,000 that I have to like kind of at least have a discussion if I'm doing it for Coursera or Udacity or for anyone, whether it is feasible to have a 4 months of offline or hybrid class with 20,000 if I'm charging, whether it is really feasible. So there are different applications, different industries, and I'll show you towards the end of tomorrow. Next class will show you an example where actual implementation of conjoint has happened across industries. Understanding market preferences, predicting market share, developing marketing strategies, segmenting the market, right? So there are additional benefits of this conjoint. So I can segment the market knowing that, okay, these are the customers, for them, this is the first choice. So what are the attributes of those customers? Whoever customers choose this kind of rank one or this kind of option as their most preferred choice, what are the attributes of those customers? So I'll find those kind of customer segment. Accordingly, I'll target them. For another kind of people, another kind of segment, they made some different choice. I'll understand their attributes, their demographic attributes, psychographic attributes, and I'll target them accordingly, right? That will help me to build my marketing strategy. Predicting market share, like I said, it's not necessarily you are creating that product. Like I said, snacks product, 200 gram or 150 gram, if I'm charging 40 rupees, right? It is not necessarily that ITC have developed that product and put in the store. But if I am comparing with existing product, and now I know that what is the customer preference, I can, without like at a concept level only, with the design level only, I can predict the market share of that product. If I launch that product, what will be the customer preference for that product, and what will be the market size or the market share of that product, right? So basically, first and foremost importance is understanding market preferences. So I have give you this class exercise, Mad Angles, Thedemede, Angles, Yamitos. So these are the 4 brands. So brand name is one attribute. There are 4 labels, right? Mad Angles, Thedemede, Angles, Yamitos. Then pack size is another attribute. There are 4 labels: 100, 125 gram, 150 gram, 200 gram. Then price actually 7 I have removed. I think 10, 12, 15, 20. 7, I think that was a old study, so I have removed. So price also I put 4 labels, right? So using that, either with conjointly or any other software, if you look into internet, there are other software also. I'm okay with any software you are using, but at least you should know that how to use that software, find that analysis done, because already we have used conjointly. If you are using that, you can just go by the method I have followed, and then analyze that and come back, and next class we'll discuss that. Okay. Any last question before we close? Okay, chalo, thank you, take care.